Well, happy Sunday, everyone. I hope you are having an amazing Sunday so far. And I'm glad that you could be here, and hopefully we can have an amazing Sunday together. Okay, now the very first thing that I am going to do is I'm going to pour some hazelnut syrup in my cup. I am just on this sugar-free Da Vinci hazelnut kick for the last little while. And I have a fresh pot of coffee, and you'll notice that I am pouring this pot of coffee myself, which means no production crew today, so that's all right. We will make this work. Now, something that we all deal with on occasion, I think, is having someone coming over for brunch or for breakfast or whatever it is, and you want to be able to make something ahead of time. So today we are going to look at some cloud omelets, and one of the things that I think is really sad about an omelet for the most part is that there's no yolk. I like a soft runny yolk in my omelet. So we're going to do a different kind of omelet that is not an egg white omelet, but it starts out that way. So if you are here for the first time, please say hi and tell me where you're from. Good morning, Mom. And if you're here for the second time or however many times, then say hi. And I hope you enjoy the omelets that we're going to make. Now, one thing that I'm going to do so that it is not quite so dark in here, because I forgot to do it ahead of time, is I am going to shed a little light on the situation, and then we are just going to get right at it. Okay, so here we go. Now, I was kind today, and I beat my egg whites until they formed a stiff peak before we started. And the reason that I did that is because I thought it would be better if we were talking rather than listening to the mixer go. This only takes 2 or 3 minutes. Well, maybe 4. Add just 1/8 of a teaspoon or 1/4 of a teaspoon of cream of tartar, and that'll really make it stand up. If you don't have cream of tartar, for every 1/2 teaspoon of cream of tartar, use a teaspoon of lemon juice. Okay, now you need a frying pan. Please use stainless steel if you have it. The trick with stainless steel is heating your frying pan. It has to be heated to the right temperature, otherwise things will stick. Now the next thing that you're going to need is some bacon fat or avocado oil. Now I'm using bacon fat because this is an omelet, and I think bacon fat belongs in everything. Now there we go. I'm turning this on 3, and I'm just going to let this bacon fat melt in here. And this is going to come together really quickly because I have done most of the work ahead of time. Now, I had somebody tell me something yesterday that made me really sad. I had a young girl who is having trouble with IBS, and she said she can't do keto because her mom's doctor told her that keto is not sustainable and keto can cause fatty liver disease. Now, this doctor was not intentionally giving bad information, I don't believe, but it was bad information nonetheless. There has been a tremendous amount of research done showing that it is not fat that causes fatty liver disease. It is carbohydrates that cause fatty liver disease, and it is carbohydrates that cause things like irritable bowel syndrome and Crohn's disease and so many kinds of cancer, and the list just goes on and on and on. So that made me a little bit sad. But hopefully I've recommended very strongly to her, as I do to you, that you do your research. I don't want anybody to take my word for anything because I'm not a doctor. So why would you take my word for it? You need to build a health team, and you need to build a health team with you as the team leader. Okay, now this is going to be a ham and cheese omelet. Let's get back to our omelet. Okay, make sure that that bacon fat is all around the pan. Now we're going to take, this is 112 grams or 2 ounces, depending on how you want to talk about it, of ham. Now you want to make sure that you are getting a sugar-free ham, and do not be looking for the low-fat kind. That is not what you're needing. And you want this, you can shred it, I guess, if you want, but this is an awesome opportunity for you to work on your knife skills. And so slice it thin one way and then slice it thin the other way, and then we'll chop it up and it will be all ready to go into our egg whites that we've beaten. Egg whites are good for so many things, but an egg white omelet without a yolk, in my world, is not one of them. Okay, now you want to be careful with this that you're not chopping up your fingers. Not a good addition to your omelet. Now we're just going to go the other way and chop this fairly fine. It doesn't have to be super fine, but chop it fairly fine. What are your favorite fillings in an omelet? One of mine is mushrooms, but I'm out of mushrooms right now. So ham and cheese it is. Okay. Now we'll get this all chopped up. Now I shredded the cheese. I don't know if you can see this yet or not. And our pan is getting hot, so that's a good thing. I shredded this cheese prior to being here because I was pretty sure you guys didn't need me to show you how to do that. Now after we get this chopped like this, we're just going to go this way and chop it up a little bit so that it's a little finer. And I think that is about ready. Make sure you're not chopping your fingers off. Again, not a great addition to an omelet. Now this is easy, you guys. Take your egg whites. Now this is 4 egg whites, beat stiff. And we're going to add 2 ounces of ham. And we are going to add 2 ounces or 112 grams of shredded old cheddar cheese, because anything other than old just is not okay in my world. And we're going to scrape that in here, and then we're just going to fold this in. So we're really doing half of the work of the omelet before it even gets in the pan. Now make sure that you are folding this, not whipping it, because your egg whites are only big and fluffy if they have air in them, and if you beat this, you will beat the air out of them. Not like beating the tar out of somebody, it's beating the air out of your egg whites. Okay, now we've got this pan smoking hot, and we're going to turn it down to 1. So this needs to cook for a little bit. Now once we get this in the pan, this is 4 eggs, so you can do this however you want. You can cut it in half, or you can do 4 piles. And if your pan is nice and hot, now make sure you're leaving a little bit of a well in the center here. If your pan is nice and hot the way it should be, these will release when they have cooked enough. Yeah, now look at that. I'm going to get 3 in here, and that's about all there is. Okay, so if that's what it's going to be, that's what it's going to be. I will have to do a second batch a little bit later. And a little bit of that old cheese. Taste test. Okay, now lid on, and I grabbed the wrong lid. There's a surprise. Is that one going to fit better? Yes, it is. All right. Now, lid on the pan, and you want that lid on the pan for about 3 minutes, because this needs to be steaming. Hi, Del. This needs to be steaming at the same time that the bottom is frying. So it isn't, I guess it isn't really steamed. There's a little bit of moisture in the egg whites, and so that's what we're using. We're not adding any water to the pan. This isn't the same as basting. So we're just using the heat from the pan coming from the bottom up. You could throw these in the oven as well if you want to make mounds on a sheet pan or in a cake pan. Make sure that you're lining the pan with a silicone mat or with parchment paper. And that way, when you are taking them out of the oven, they're not going to be stuck to your sheet pan. Now, these are absolutely beautiful. Now, I have 4 egg yolks here, one of which is going to stay in the bowl. And once these are almost cooked, and you really do have to watch the time on these because you don't want them all overcooked. So once these are almost cooked, we are going to add the egg yolks to the center, and we're going to let them cook for another 2 minutes. So let's get something out that is going to make it easy for us to scoop up one of these egg yolks, or scoop it out of the bowl. And it's just the little indent that we're leaving. So this kind of looks like a fried egg omelet. So where are you from? And what is your reason for being interested in keto? Have you started keto? Have you been thinking about keto? I want you to remember when you're hanging out here that I am not a doctor. I'm not a nurse. I'm somebody who loves to cook. I'm somebody who loves to play with spices. And somebody who's been doing keto for about 4 years now. And it is something that is definitely a lifelong lifestyle. It's not a diet. It's not something that I'm doing just so that I can lose 10 pounds. Got a little more than that to lose. But it is definitely something that makes a tremendous difference in your health, in all kinds of chronic conditions. Now, this is just about where we want it. And you can see that these have puffed up a wee bit. So we're just going to add an egg yolk to the center of these, each of these. Okay, and then, now, oops, okay, well, there's one egg yolk, there's another egg yolk. Now let's get one more in this. Now once the egg yolks are in that well, all you need to do is cover these again for, we're going to say 2 minutes, and this is going to be an amazing meal that you can serve a guest, and you can make it ahead of time. If you're going to make it ahead of time, save the yolks, and when you heat it up, put the yolk in then, and you can just pop it back in the frying pan for a couple of minutes and heat it up. If you want the yolks well done, you can do the whole thing, set the whole thing aside, and when you heat it up, the yolk should be hard by the time you take it out. Okay, now this one, you can, I don't know if you guys can see this or not. I'm just going to turn this a little bit. That yolk is touching the lid a little bit, so I am just going to move that a bit. Let's just do it this way. We're going to lift this lid just a wee bit so that it is not touching any of those egg yolks. I don't mind so much if it touches the omelette-y part of the egg, but the egg yolk I don't want to mess with because I like my yolks soft. So I like my yolk soft and my coffee hot and my food keto. So, if you are not eating keto yet, what kind of food is it that you think you would have to give up that's preventing you from starting? Or what kind of food is it that you think cannot be keto? You know, I've only heard of one example, and that was a piece of fruit. I had somebody say to me, what about a banana? And I said, well, we have flavorings for that. And the person said, no, I want a real banana. I can't help with a real piece of fruit. There are some things where you do have to make a decision. Which is more important to you? Is it your health, or is it your banana, or your apple, or your peach, or whatever it is that you think you would be missing? And the choice is definitely yours. Okay, now we have come to about 2 minutes. Oh. And look at those. They are absolutely beautiful. Now I'm just going to check. Make sure these are not quite hot enough yet, so we're just going to leave that go for another minute. Okay. Just touch the top of the egg yolks. It should feel warm, not hot. If you have a lid that is not going to touch the egg yolks like mine is, There we go. They may turn a little bit white on top. If that's something that's important to you, then just leave them cook a little bit longer. If you like the sunny side up look, then just do it the way we're doing it here. Now, plating. You need plates for this. So let's grab those. Now, I definitely am not going to be eating all 3 of these, you can be sure. And I do have company coming a little later, so okay, I think these are about done. Now we're just going to take that spoon out of there, and now these are delicate and beautiful. And they are sticking just a little bit. Not much, but that's all right. So in a stainless steel pan, the silicone spatulas often don't work very well. But with a stainless steel spatula, this is just lifting off of here just beautifully. And you'll notice that they puff up a little bit as they cook. So look at this. Out of the pan, and onto the plate. Just that easy. And because this is, oh, and I just broke that one. Nicely done. Okay, so I'm thinking I'm going to wipe this off. I got just a wee little bit of egg on the last one, so it isn't sliding so well. Make sure that this is all released from the side of the pan is my problem. You just have to be gentle with these. There we go. Now it's moving across the pan. Now because there's egg in this, or because there's cheese in this, if the cheese is touching the bottom of the pan, there we go. And this one, I think I am just going to leave in the pan for the moment, and I'm going to turn that pan off. Now, look at this. This is absolutely gorgeous. And you can drop a little bit of chives on top of it. You can drop a little bit of smoked paprika on top of it, which I'm sure you got from TSL Organics. Now, let's take a look at the bottom, because I want to show you this. Okay. Now look at that beautiful brown omelet. That's the word I'm looking for. It is absolutely gorgeous. Now, how firm do you want this? You know, there is always a temperature that you want your eggs to get to, 140 degrees, I believe. That truly is like eating a cloud, honestly. Now, break that yolk and use a little bit of the omelet part to pick up the egg yolk. And there you go. There is an egg yolk, or an egg omelet with a soft yolk, so that yolk is not just incorporated into the omelet and lost. This way you still get that beautiful, nice runny yolk if you want it. And you don't have to worry about any of the ingredients that may be in an omelet that you get at a restaurant or a breakfast sandwich that you get somewhere, because this is something that you've made yourself. It's super easy. Ham and cheese in egg whites that are beaten stiff with a little bit of cream of tartar. It doesn't get a lot easier than that. So I hope that all of you, there we go, I hope all of you are going to take the time, the 3 minutes that it takes to put this together, chop up your ham, shred your cheese, beat up your egg whites and make yourself a beautiful, beautiful egg white omelet. Cook it as much as you want it cooked. Get that yolk as hard or soft as you want it to be, and do it at home. And that way you know what you're getting, and you know it's keto, and you know you're getting good, healthy food that is appropriate to nourish a human body and is going to give you the energy to keep going for the rest of your day. Thank you very much for joining me today. I'm always grateful when you choose to spend time with me, and I'm honored that you do. So from now until I see you on Friday, I hope you do your very best to live your best version of this shining life. That's what I'm going to do. And for right now, I need to go and cook another omelet because we didn't get these ones all cooked while we were together. But that's okay. I'll get it